Alright, I am back with a Halo Infinite video, which I think I've only done one or two of those, but I am probably about to be doing a whole lot more with the launch of the game in a month, or maybe not the launch of the game in a month. Something very interesting has happened over the course of the past day or so, where there is an ongoing series of rumors and data mining and a bazillion other things that have people thinking that Microsoft is about to surprise launch Halo Infinite's free multiplayer component, the whole multiplayer component of the game, essentially, this Monday on November 15th. This is 3 weeks early, so that would be more than your typical early access period for the game. But I spent most of last night just kind of going through all the different things that have come up in regard to this being either true or false. And I have to say, I am mostly convinced at this point that it's happening. I've gone back and forth a bunch of times on this because I was researching one thing and I could debunk that, but then I saw this other thing and there's a lot, and kind of in total, I think it adds up to enough stuff where I would be a little surprised if there was nothing to this at all. I will just kind of go through all the different things. I wrote an article about this, so you can see it in visual form, but I wanted to just kind of talk about my thought process and what I'm thinking about this whole situation in the first place. The first time I heard this mentioned was some tweets started getting passed around from alleged Halo leakers who are not people I know. I'm not huge into the Halo scene, so that's not really saying anything, but, I guess people that are sort of the equivalent of your Ginzers and people like that in the Destiny community. One guy posted an image that was just a Halo multiplayer image, and then he said the name of the season with the date November 15th. That was quote tweeted by another leaker who said, "Yes, I am happy to confirm that Halo Infinite is launching its multiplayer for free on the 15th. And then that's when things started kind of taking off, and I saw a bunch of people publish stories yesterday pretty much just based on that tweet, but that was not the end of it. There have been a few more things that have come up that aren't just people saying I heard this, and besides that, one thing that got brought up right away was people were Googling Halo Infinite on mobile, and it would show a countdown timer on Google counting down to November 15th instead of December 8th. This is one of the ones I think I can debunk, where a long time ago, about 10 months ago, there was some sort of alleged retailer leak about Halo Infinite's release date being on November 15th. I should probably rewind and say the other main reason people are thinking this is happening is because November 15th is the 20th anniversary of Xbox and Halo, so it is not just some random Monday, and the idea would be that Microsoft is launching multiplayer as a surprise on the 20th anniversary of the game. So going back to the Google thing, people thought that the release date was going to be the November 15th date before we got the December 8th date. So a bunch of places wrote articles about that as a potential date before the real one was announced, and I think Google just picked up that algorithm in its algorithm, and so for some searches it has that as the date. So I don't think that it's tied to this, and this countdown timer is not actually new. It didn't just start when these rumors started. But there's more. So people were going into the code of the Xbox store, and there is a string that says something about pre-release dates or something like that, tied, and the date is November 15th. As of this morning, that has been changed to December 8th. So it is pretty clear that Microsoft noticed that people were noticing that, and they went to change it. But also, even after I wrote this article, I saw something posted about how the Halo Waypoint API also had the November 15th date in there. And then all of this kind of circles around the idea that it's the anniversary, and Microsoft is having a big anniversary show on Monday. This is not news. The show's at, I think, 1 p.m. Eastern, and it's just, a quote, celebration of 20 years of Xbox. And that can mean anything, a bunch of clips of how far Xbox has come and the history and blah, blah, blah. However, it also seems like it could be a prime area to do something like surprise launch Halo's multiplayer at a time when it has significance to the company, and the brand, but also is something that can be unleashed for free because it is technically divorced from the paid campaign, which is coming out on December 8th. I will say up front, like, if I knew this was happening for sure, I would not be talking about it, because, like, if someone told me, like, yes, absolutely, this is happening, someone from Microsoft or something, I probably wouldn't even be focusing on this at all, but I do not have hard confirmation one way or the other. Like, all I can do is kind of analyze all of this stuff coming together, and there is a good amount of stuff adding up between this data mines and leaker people. Another one is Halo Hub, which kind of cropped up after the fact, and they're kind of a combination of both, where they said they were able to access some 343 data, not like hacking into 343, but like there was some way to get to some amount of 343 data that was available that says, the season launches on November 15th, and they give a kind of a launch window of different weeks for events that are coming this season, and it starts on November 15th. So that is kind of one more piece of the puzzle. There are some people online that are kind of giving winks and nods to, like, maybe this is happening. My buddy Ty Guy Travis said a week ago, I discovered that November 15th is going to be a big day for Halo fans, and then he reposted that today with like a winking face. I have not grilled him on this specifically to see if I can wring something out of him. I don't know what his sources are, but I trust him. And some other journalists are, I don't know, being a little coy with this in ways that makes me suspicious. There's obviously kind of the ultimate fact of this, that Halo multiplayer has seemed ready for pretty much since we got our hands on it. The technical tests went very well, and I think everyone's thought was like, this could launch tomorrow and it would probably be fine. Obviously, the game was delayed for a full year, so they had a year to polish everything. It does seem like the campaign needed more time to kind of be worked on than multiplayer, and multiplayer is very, very ready to go. Not that the campaign won't be, but it makes sense that like the campaign could launch, or the multiplayer could launch this early, in a way that you don't see 3-week early drops for other games. The only thing that even compares to this would be the surprise drop of Apex Legends, which I think happened on a Monday. And again, there were some rumors about like some game dropping, over that weekend, and then surprise, here's Apex Legends, and that's now one of the biggest games around. But that is like the exception, not the rule. That does not happen very often at all. The weird thing about doing this would be it kind of hurts Microsoft itself a bit, in terms of they're going to drop Halo Infinite multiplayer like more or less a week after Forza Horizon 5 came out, so like rave reviews and 7 million players, and obviously I think that is something a large number of potential Forza players who are currently playing Forza right now would just immediately switch over to playing Halo Infinite on Xbox. I know that's what I would do starting Monday. Like, I have been playing Forza, but if Halo Infinite multiplayer launched Monday, I would leave Forza immediately for the indefinite future to go do that. When previously, if it launched on the 8th, Forza would have 3 more weeks kind of to itself on Xbox, on Game Pass, to kind of do its thing. This is also the launch week of Battlefield 2042. EA has been a pretty big Microsoft partner. I think they have like an ad deal for Battlefield. Early access is going on right now, I believe, and then the game officially launches at the end of the week. But this would be dropping kind of a massive multiplayer bomb right on top of them. And keep in mind, Halo Infinite is also coming out not just on Xbox but PC. So that is two of the 3 platforms. Battlefield 2042 is coming to you outside of PlayStation. So that would not be amazing for that game, considering obviously I think some people are going to pick playing Infinite multiplayer over Battlefield. That said, you will recall that Battlefield was not supposed to be coming out this week at all. It was supposed to be coming out earlier, and it got delayed about a month or so. So if Microsoft is planning something like this, my guess is that as soon as the technical tests started going well, that they may have really seriously started to consider doing this, or confirmed a plan they were already trying to put in motion, the surprise release of 20th anniversary. And so that was something I don't think they just like decided like, screw it. Like, we're just going to put this online on Monday. This is, no doubt been something that's been in the works for a long time, because you have to have everyone there to support the game's launch. And it's not just like, hit a button and walk away. Like, there is a ton of stuff that has to do with that. And you can imagine, like, I know some people are starting to hear this rumor, but if the show ends and they're like, surprise, Halo is live, like that is going to cause a mass rush of people trying to download the game if they haven't yet. I believe you can pre-download the multiplayer component already on Xbox, so you might want to do that now. And then people trying to log on and play, which can overwhelm servers or whatever, and that could create some problems there. So this requires a good amount of planning, and I am not surprised something that would require that much planning would kind of start to leak at the cracks and seep out into the wild here. Obviously, this could be false. All the leakers and insiders could be lying. We could explain away all of the data mine stuff as being just something related to the anniversary that isn't the launch of multiplayer necessarily. There's a Joe Staten quote where he says they're planning something special for they have something up their sleeve for the anniversary event, and yet there are also Joe Staten quotes that were like, multiplayer and campaign are launching together on December 8th. However, when he was saying that, I do think that was mostly in regard to addressing questions about like, okay, well, if the campaign is struggling, maybe we delay the campaign till like February 2022 and just launch multiplayer in like October. But a 3-week gap in this early drop in the anniversary event would not be that big of a deal. I personally would really appreciate this because I would like a 3-week run-up to be able to play Halo Infinite multiplayer until the actual release of the game, and that will free up my schedule a bit in early December when I have to simultaneously play this big new Destiny anniversary content along with actual Halo Infinite. We'll see about review copies and stuff, so maybe that'll be earlier, but that is something that has crossed my mind. So I personally would love for this to come out on Monday. I would have no issue setting down Forza to start playing Halo Infinite multiplayer then, but it's not a guarantee. Like, this isn't a slam dunk yet. Obviously, it could be, there's the old adage about like, if you're trying to, like, if you think the number 13 is linked to like a bunch of conspiracy in the world, you'll start seeing the number 13 everywhere. So in this case, that's 11, 15, and yet, I don't know. There is a good amount of stuff here, and I have done a large amount of research to try and figure this out, and I've only been able to fully debunk a couple components of this, like the Google thing, and the rest of it is kind of open for interpretation or just you trusting these leakers to a certain extent. I am leaning towards that it's happening. I am planning to obviously watch the show on Monday and block out a bunch of time after that to potentially dive right into the multiplayer if it comes online and functions correctly, and then to cover it that week. That would also mark the launch of like the Battle Pass and all that stuff. I think if Microsoft did this, they would also be able to jam a bunch of gaming revenue into this quarter, whereas December, I think, would be a new quarter, and so they could get all the Battle Pass revenue and stuff there, so that could be an additional reason. But I don't know if they like need to do this, but obviously it would be kind of a big deal, a big PR stunt. Might hurt Forza a little bit, might hurt Battlefields, which isn't ideal, and yet, I don't know, maybe the pros do outweigh the cons, like kind of thinking in the broader picture here. So that is the evidence I've seen so far. It is decently compelling at this point, I would say, but we will have to see what happens. I will kind of keep covering this or focusing on it over the course of the week, so follow my Twitter investigation. If there's enough stuff, maybe I'll write a follow-up article. I would pre-download Infinite Multiplayer right now instead of I thought it was like 100 gigs or something. It was a pretty big file, so I would do that now instead of, if it does launch on Monday, have a bunch of people scrambling to all download it at the same time, might cause some issues. And I'm not going to tell you to like take off work or skip school because I can't guarantee that, but I know a lot of people probably would do that, and that is a little bit disruptive if suddenly December 8th is not the date for the whole game, it's just for half the game. So anyway, I think this is pretty fun and exciting, and I love like little mystery chases like this, and this has been interesting to investigate, and we will see if anything else happens. But thanks for watching, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.